Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you for this Reseller Friday about why you need to treat your reselling business like a 9 to 5 job and not a hobby. This doesn't mean you have to work 9 to 5 hours, because you can set up whatever hours you want. That is one of the beauties of this business, is that as long as you get your orders shipped out and your listings done each day, it doesn't really matter what time you decide to do all the work. But I've seen so many resellers come and go. And I'll give you an example. I was in a thrift store today that is one of the largest in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And they made an interesting statement to me. They're like, oh, well, I have to get the manager for this because I have my tax exempt status with them. And I guess they didn't know how to do it in the system, even though it's on file with them. I was like, don't you get a lot of people that do this? I know there's a lot of resellers in here. And she said, well, no, it's just mainly you. There's a lot of resellers, but they don't have tax exempt. And see, this is a fatal flaw. These people are paying an extra 8.25% on everything they purchase for resale. And here's the kicker. For no reason. You are reselling that item. Sales tax is for the end user of that product. If you're going to resell the product and not use it, you don't have to pay sales tax if you have the proper setup with the state, which costs nothing. And it takes a matter of minutes to get your sales and use tax permit set up. And it used to be in the old days you had to collect the sales tax, and it was a big pain. And you had to buy these subscriptions to tax services that would pay it to all the states. It was a big mess. eBay, Amazon, all the platforms collect the tax for you now. You don't have to do anything except for your individual state. You file one form a quarter, or however your state does it. Most of them are quarterly. In Texas, it's quarterly, showing how many sales you had in the state of Texas, the dollar amount. And you put 0 for taxable because it's already been taxed. And that may sound a little weird, but that's what the state actually says to do. It's simple. The state gets their taxes. You filed your form properly. And that's all you got to do. And then you can go into various shops, such as thrift stores. Some of them, not all of them, of course, are set up to handle this. Walmarts. And get your tax exempt status set up. So when you're purchasing things for resale, you don't have to pay the state tax on them because you're going to be reselling the item. That's an extra 8.25% profit you're making right off the top. But many resellers are not running their business like an actual business. They're not treating it like a 9 to 5 job. And I'm not saying treat it like a 9 to 5 job, meaning you treat it like a job, because that obviously implies things that are not what I'm trying to imply. I'm just saying that you treat it like a real business. And for many people, they do better going and working for somebody else, because if they have a 9 to 5 job, it doesn't matter what the really hours are, but just they have a regular job, they go somewhere, they have to be there for 8 hours or whatever. They'll get more done because they have somebody telling them what to do and when to do it, and it's ordered and structured. And when they try to work for themselves, they have all the distractions of life. Well, I can go watch some videos. Maybe I'll scroll social media. There's that game I want to play. All these distractions that come up because they're not treating their business like a real business. And I've seen so many people go down the tubes. There are resellers who I've known for years who aren't reselling anymore. And they were doing all right. But they never would give their all to it. They always had these excuses. They were going on trips. They were going to the movies in the middle of the day. They were doing all these things besides actually putting in the effort and putting in the work to get the results they wanted to get. They just wanted to magically happen. Well, someday hopefully I'll get the sales that I'm trying to get. How? You're not doing the work. And so I must emphasize this. You have to treat this resale business that you have like a real business. Now, this applies to anything. If you're an entrepreneur and you start any business, you have to treat it like a real business. One of the biggest problems people have is their lack of discipline, their lack of diligence, and the fact they can't stay focused long enough to get a lot of things done that need to get done. You have to know going in I have to treat this business like a real job, just as if you're going to work for somebody else. Set up certain hours. If you have friends and family that think that you don't really work because you work at home or whatever, you need to tell them, no, during this time I'm at work. Don't call me, don't text me, don't send me some chat, nothing. I'm working. And if you have people that just don't respect that, and maybe they're just not paying attention, maybe turn your phone off. Put your phone in another room. I've had people get mad. They send me a text and I don't respond. Yeah, my phone was in a different room charging. I wasn't looking at it. I was working. Eventually, enough of that, people realize, oh, I got to treat this seriously. Because they would never call you at work if you work somewhere, would they? Of course not. But they call you at your own business and disrespect you and treat it like it's a joke, treat it like it's just some hobby or you're just playing around. Well, you know why they do that? In many cases, because that's all you've shown them is that it's a joke and it's a hobby and you're just playing around. Because you're not treating it like a real business. Set some hours, schedule yourself, and get to work. No, you can't go in the middle of the day to play a round of golf because you are working. No, you can't go watch that movie. You're working. No, you can't do this or that or whatever things people come up with because they have a day off and now they think, well, you don't have to really work. You can do whatever you want, so you can just go and waste your time. No, I'm working. And yes, that might rub some people the wrong way, but just tell them, just explain it to them. Listen, I wouldn't call you your work because you're working. It's disrespectful to call me or expect me to just drop everything and stop doing my work because my work is real and it's how I earn money and it's how I'm going to the next level of success. And you need to be able to respect that. Listen, here's something you have to understand. While these people don't mean you harm, oftentimes people will do these things not because they're purposely trying to sabotage you, but it is to sabotage you. They don't want to see you do better than they are doing. They don't want to see you rising to another level. And it's not conscious. They're not thinking like, oh, I'm going to sabotage this guy. It's just some instinctual thing the world and worldly people do. They kind of drag people back down to their level. And when they see you excelling and making moves and doing things and being diligent, and that all the things they're not doing, they want to bring you back down because maybe for most of your life you haven't lived that way. You haven't been that diligent person. You haven't been that person of discipline and character. But you are now. And you're going to treat your business like a real business. You're not going to treat it like a game. You're not going to treat it like a hobby. You're going to treat it like a real business with a real set schedule and with real activities getting done in your workday. Because it doesn't do you any good to set a schedule and then you are scrolling social media all day, or you're playing video games, or you're watching videos, or you're doing an endless number of things that are not working your business. And as you build up and scale up, it's more important that you have this discipline in order and implement it in your life because your employees need to see somebody who's disciplined. My employees always told me that they felt more productive around me. They didn't see somebody laying around, scrolling social media, laughing at videos. They saw someone who's working and outworking them with no question about it. You need to rise to another level. Now, if you're just getting started, you don't have any employees or anything, obviously you have to set the standard for yourself. But you need to do that now and not wait until you get an employee that you're not disciplined and then you're supposed to train them and keep them disciplined. It's not going to happen. They don't care about your business as much as you do. And if you don't even care about your business enough to treat it like a real business, how are you going to get the best results from them? You get the best results from them by being that person of character and substance and diligence who outworks anybody and sets a standard for them. Now, they may never be able to get to your level. That's all right. But you set a standard that they can at least strive for. You don't want to be the worst person in your company. That's pathetic. And I guarantee you, if you are that kind of person that hires people just to take off, just to relax, just to do nothing, you're going to have a bunch of people that don't work very hard for you because you are showing them an indolence and a laziness and an apathy toward your business, and it rubs off on them. You have to be someone who's excited about your business, who's enthusiastic about your business, and actually treat your business like a real business by doing the things you need to do each and every day in a disciplined and structured and scheduled manner. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.